In StarCraft 2 co-op, there are 60 mutators. These mutators can be divided into 7 categories: vision, economic, environmental, pacing, acrobatic, multitask, and head-on. Vision mutators affect the player's vision. Economic mutators affect the player's economy. Environmental mutators make it difficult to move around the map. Pacing mutators make it slower for the player to do the objective. Acrobatic mutators require players to adjust their playstyles. Multitask mutators require players to be in multiple places at once. And head-on mutators are mutators that the player has to deal with head-on. Today, we're going to look at multitask mutators, specifically Void Rifts. Void Rifts spawn small units every 12 seconds, so it's 2 Zerglings, 1 Zealot, or 1 Marine. In custom mode, you get 1 Roach, 1 Marauder, or 1 Zealot every 24 seconds, so custom rifts are actually a bit easier. They spawn a big wave after 30 seconds and then every 90 seconds after. And since rifts come every 90 seconds, basically 30 seconds after rifts spawn, all existing rifts will create a wave of units. Air units come after 10 minutes. Those are Mutas, Void Rays, and Banshees. Casters come after 17 minutes. Then hybrid destroyers come after 20 minutes. Rifts don't spawn right next to enemies, and if you clear an area, future rifts have a higher chance of spawning there. So it's a good idea to clear all the enemies and buildings in areas near your base because those encampments are generally easier to destroy. If you want to look up some build orders for Void Rifts, check out my guide, which I made before, and you can watch videos on my channel to see these tactics in action. The first rifts come very early, so how can each commander deal with them? For Raynor, if you're P1, you can use Marines to kill one and then bunker up. You need about like 8 Marines. For P3, you just bunker up until 4 minutes when Duskwings come out and kill them. For Kerrigan, you can use 10 Lings to kill one and then stall until Kerrigan comes out. If you're doing a solo, you can just reroll until both rifts are close by so you can kill both of them with your 10 to 12 Lings. Alternatively, you can just make a lot of evolution chambers and just stall until Kerrigan comes out. So if you have like 7 evolution chambers, you don't need to kill either of the rifts and they shouldn't be able to get through. For Artanis, P0 is the best prestige. You use Orbital Strike on one, 2 Zealots, and a Dragoon on the other. Some people I've seen they just make 3 Dragoons, which also works. For Swan, you make static defense at home to hold off the trickles, then your laser and your factory will take care of one of them. At that time, you should make a second factory and go in the other direction. Zagara builds 9 Lings and then times 2, so 9 in one, 9 in the other. If one of the rifts is out of reach, then you go back home and then build a spine or 2, and try not to waste your Banelings. For Vorzu, you make a Dark Pylon Wall. Usually, this Dark Pylon Wall is around your own Nexus and assimilators, not at the ramp, because if the enemies from the rifts come from a different angle, then they'll just get through. For Karax, you send 2 probes in 2 directions, starting from around like 150, and then you orbital strike the rifts. For Abathur, you should make a Brutalist quickly. If you can't, then you should make some spines at home and hopefully get one by like 2:30. For Alarak, you use the quick mothership opening. You'll get a mothership by 2:30, and you can send a probe out to send the mothership onto the field closer to the rifts, and you can build a pylon and overcharge it to kill a rift as well. For Nova, whether you're going P1 or P3, you're going to use Marines. Even if you're using Starport first Nova, you still make Marines. For Stukov P1, there are several ways. You can stall with a bunker, then get a starport, clear with the Apocalypse, and then eventually some Banshees. You can get an early factory, and then get Diamondbacks by about like 3 minutes, and then go out and kill them. Stall with Infest Structure. You can also make 8 to 10 Infested Marines from the barracks and kill both rifts. This is the same if you use P3, although P3 is not recommended for Void Rift mutations. For Phoenix, you make Caldalis and kill one, or both. Then you stall, and then eventually get Taldarin. For the Haka, if you're using P3, you can use an uprooted Warden on one, and then the 2 Hakas on the other. Once the Hakas kill one, you deep tunnel back and assist the Warden before it goes down. For P2, it's mostly the same, but you might need 2 Wardens. If the rifts spawn a wave, the Haka can pretty much eat them and like keep fighting them early on, so it's not really a big deal. For Han and Horner, you get 1 Galleon and then Magmines. So 1 SEV in one direction and then a Galleon plus Hellions in the other. For P1, you only need 2 mag mines. You put the circle right on top of the rifts, and then they'll die. For P2, you need 3 sets because the trickles that come out might destroy 1 or 2 of the mag mines, and if that happens, then you won't be able to kill the rifts. So you should have 3 sets to make sure it's gone. For Tychus, you stall with buildings or 2 auto turrets until Tychus comes out, and then you'll get Sirius. Usually you'll defend with Sirius, and then Tychus will go out and clear the rifts. For Zeratul, there are several ways to deal with the first void rifts. The Legion, if you use a Legion, you'll need some luck because you will want both of them to spawn in the same area. The best way is to use 2 to 3 ambushers and then kill one, go home, and then you can use a Legion, or you can just hold on for dear life until Zeratul comes out. The third way, which is not recommended but works, is you stall at home using cannons and shield guards until Zeratul comes out. For Stetman, you get 8 to 10 lings, you kill one of them, and then stall with lings and green zone or evolution chambers like Kerrigan until Gary comes out. For Manx, you drop bunker on one of them, and then you use 6 to 8 troopers on another if it's close by. If it's not close by, then you just bunker up at home and wait until later. Now, in the mid to late game, you'll need to control the rifts. So for Raynor, you will use hit squads of 2 medics plus 6 to 8 marines just in various areas around the map, and they should be able to take out any rifts that spawn near them. For far ones, you can use Dusk Wings and scan, drop Dusk Wings, kill some rifts. Later on, you can choose to use 3 to 4 BCs and then teleport to the rifts and just Yamato them and right-click the rifts. By using BCs, your main army can be bigger, so you can actually pull some of your hit squads. They can join with the main army once you have BCs. For P3, you'll have hit squads of 2 to 3 Banshees in close areas using Duskwings and Hyperion for the far ones until you eventually get BCs. And you can just hotkey individual BCs, teleport to a rift and right-click it, or Yamato and then right-click it to make sure it's gone. For Kerrigan, her best method is to spread Omega Worms everywhere. Kerrigan, the hero unit, will be very, very busy jumping around. P0 is recommended because you can just kill the rifts in 2 shots. And with your extra minerals, you can spread spines so that if a rift spawns near them, then they're just gonna die and Kerrigan doesn't have to go over there. For Artanis, you want hit squads of 3 to 4 Dragoons around the map, just all over the place. And you can also have a single Tempest with Disintegrate that will eventually kill the rift. For Swan, you will spread Blaster Billies to kill any close rifts that spawn. If you choose to iDef at home, that's fine. You can use the Herc and Laser for far rifts, and then use a Wraith army to fly around and take out the other ones. For Zagara, you can have hit squads of 15 to 20 lings and get rid of any rifts in those areas. You can also use bio launchers at a 4 natural to take care of nearby rifts, because the bio launchers will also take care of the trickles, so that'll be good. Forzun uses hit squads of 2 to 3 DTs spread around the map, and for Karax, you will spread observers or mirages, usually observers, and in the mid to late game, once you have map control, you can spread static D to kill any rifts that spawn near them for free. Abathur uses brutalisks. So you have 3 brutalisks, you can send 1 to each, and then after you kill 3 of them, you can deep tunnel all 3 of them to the last one. You can also use swarm hosts later on. So 3 to 4 swarm hosts with full biomass just completely control an entire area, and all rifts that spawn there will just go down. If you have Leviathans already, you can use them to kill any rifts that are close to the objective. And with all your extra minerals, you just spread spine crawlers around the map to get free rift kills later on. Alorak uses hit squads of 4 to 5 destroyers, right-click the rift, and then go back to your position. Mothership can be used for far rifts. Alorak stays at the objective. For Nova, you have hit squads of 2 Banshees in different places, controlling an area, and Nova herself will use Sabotage Drone to kill one as well. For Nova, I generally use 15-15 in the second mastery so that you deal enough damage to kill the rifts, while the rest will go into combat unit attack speed because they're going to be doing a lot of the damage dealing. Stukov uses hit squads of 2 to 3 Banshees. They're pretty difficult to control because you need to unburrow, cloak, right-click the rift, right-click back into position, and then burrow again. That way you make sure that you have enough HP and energy. If you use Diamondbacks to control rifts, you can use hit squads of 3 to 4 Diamondbacks around the map. For Phoenix, you will play him similar to Lone Wolf. You have Tal'Darim, Warbringer, Clolarian, and Mojo in 4 different control groups controlling 4 different areas of the map. Mojo can also go with his scouts because even though they deal less damage, they're flying. So then most of the enemies from the rifts can't hit you. And if you kill them before they spawn a big wave, then you'll be fine. Marines deal very little damage. You can also spread observers, so your Phoenix suits can take out some. You summon like a Dragoon suit or Arbiter or Zealot suit and then just right-click the rift. You can have hit squads of Legionnaires around the map if you're not P2. For Dahaka, you get greater Primal Worms to get far rifts, and you move Impalers towards the close rifts, and then they'll eventually die. You can spread Primal Worms later on, just like how some commanders spread Spine Crawlers. And to get vision of the far areas, you want to use perhaps Mervar, and then you just like manually fly the Locusts to far positions. Or what you can do is Dahaka can just like walk all the way to a far position, roaring to not get hit, eating stuff to stay alive, getting to a far place, then deep tunneling back home. For Han and Horner, you just use 2 Strike Fighter platform shots. If you get the fire upgrade at 7 minutes, then you can 2-shot rifts. To get the fire upgrade at 7 minutes, you start the fusion core at about 6 minutes. To get the fusion core at 6 minutes, you start the armory at around 440. Before 5 minutes for sure. For Tychus, Sam gets far rifts. Nux, your 4th outlaw most of the time, will get close rifts, and Vega will get close rifts as well. Sirius will be somewhere in the middle, helping Tychus sometimes, depending on what the objective is, and Tychus usually pushes or stays at the objective. Zeratol's hit squads are easy. They're just 1 Void Templar, you right-click the rift, and then go back to your position. You can also spread observers and project 3 to 4 cannons, and make sure you right-click the rift to make sure that the rift goes down before you let the trickles spawn. Zeratol can also get far rifts by blinking there or using his teleport. Stetman uses hit squads of 10 to 15 lings to get close rifts. Super Gary gets the far rifts, and you can spread spines like the other commanders later on. For Manx, you can drop 2 to 3 troopers and arm them, hope that the explosions will kill the rifts. You can spread bunkers for close rifts, and if a rift spawns out of the range of a bunker, you basically unload, right-click the rift, and then right-click the bunker to get back in. You can have hit squads of 6 to 8 troopers around the map, similar to Raynor, and you can also use a Pride of Augustgrad, where it can teleport to a rift and just shoot it away. ESOs can work, but unless you have a lot of them already, they might take some time, so it's better to have some units controlling the rifts. So a lot of the commanders need hit squads. What you should do is you hotkey them, so you get into a rhythm. What I do is I say their group numbers aloud in the same order every time rifts spawn. So for me, it's 2, 5, 8, sometimes 4. So it's like I go 2, kill a rift, 5, kill a rift, 8, kill a rift, then back to the main army, which is 1. If you have more than 4 groups, for like Manx or Raynor, then you just kind of remember them where they are on the map, and then after you clear the rifts, you move them back to the position. The hit squads should be placed in areas where they can get to rifts no matter where they spawn. Usually they will be like over dead space, but not completely far away from where the rifts might spawn. Air-based hit squads like Destroyers, Banshees, and stuff, they're better because they can just fly directly to the rifts and clear them. Invisible hit squads can just right-click the rift, but hit squads that are not invisible need to be large enough so that you can A-move towards the rift and kill the trickles that spawn. It takes some practice. You can see how I do it in my runs. The mindset is also important. Void rifts can be overwhelming to people who aren't used to it. So here's a little way to remember this. You don't pew. So don't panic if you can't kill a rift or 2. You can strengthen the area that the trickles mostly go to, and then if your main army is there as well, then you don't have to worry about losing the game just because a rift is not gone. Don't engage a rift when a wave is about to spawn. So a wave spawns 30 seconds after the rift spawns. So if a rift spawns at 9:50, then don't go to the rift when it's around 10:20. you should let the rift wave spawn, then go after it. If you don't remember the timings of the void rifts, you can open a document and see it on your second monitor and just practice. Or if you really don't want to remember the rift timings, just do not go towards the rifts when the timer is about 15 to 20 or 45 to 50. So go when the in-game clock is at 00 or 30. By then, the waves should be gone. Personally, I think this is one of the biggest reasons why people struggle with void rifts. They use their small hit squad to engage a rift, but then they miss the timing, so one of the waves spawns and then eats their entire hit squad, then they're out of position, or they can't get another hit squad into position. And if this happens too many times, then they're going to get overwhelmed. So as long as you don't engage and let the rift spawns engage your main army or your defenses, then you won't lose your hit squads and you'll be able to control the rifts a lot better. Also, don't panic and waste a strong top bar like a space station or a solar bombardment just to kill a rift. The worst thing that happens is some enemies go towards your base. So save your top bars for more important attack waves or enemy encampments. Tychus and IDEF commanders can handle 5 to 6 unchecked rifts on their own. So you can see here, when I played Bad Weather, I left 7 rifts alone because I couldn't reach them and I didn't die. I had no problem with this because Tychus is really strong. However, if the other mutators buff the enemies like Just Die, then that's not good. If there aren't any mutators that make the enemies stronger, you don't have to rush to kill the rifts. Other commanders can still handle 2 to 3 rifts that are unchecked, but you might not be able to handle much more than that. When you have unchecked rifts, you should prioritize clearing the rifts over the objective, especially if you have time to spare. And that's it. Hope this guide was useful for you. You can watch my videos to see how these are done. So if it's really abstract, you can see exactly what I do. All right, so like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and see you in the next lesson.